You will be the first United States ambassador to the United Nations to actually address the Human Rights Council. Why did you make this decision to go in person, to see them, face them down in person?
I needed to go to the Human Rights Council because it's important. You know, and now we're looking at all these areas where they've had human rights issues that have led to conflict. What we have seen in the cases of Venezuela now, which is an issue, is when I brought it up in front of the Security Council, they said this should come up in front of the Human Rights Council. Well, why hasn't that happened? Because Venezuela sits on the council. How can you have a Human Rights Council that has Venezuela and Cuba on it? It just doesn't make sense. And so we're going to go to Geneva, talk to them about what we think the Human Rights Council does well, talk to them on where improvement is needed, and decide our status after that to see if they're really serious about human rights or not.
Do you think you have faith that by going there, by seeing them in person, and by addressing this here at the UN constantly, that it could change?
I don't know that I'll be successful, but I know that I have to have my voice heard. I know that they have to understand the U.S. position of the fact that we take human rights seriously. We think that it is the root cause to many conflicts that can happen, and we expect certain things of the Human Rights Council. And if they want to be better and if they want to make some changes, the U.S. will stay on it. If they don't, then in the name of human rights, we'll get off.
And in terms of Israel, you have been outspoken here at the UN on that, and critics say it is most egregious at the Human Rights Council.
It really is painful to see. I mean, there's something I've never been able to take, and that's a bully. And you know, what we've seen at the UN is they've just been such a bully to Israel. And when you look at the fact that you've got an entire agenda item for Israel, and you've got all these other bad actors, and you don't have an agenda item for them, that says so much right there.
Then there are those who point to occupation and the Palestinian rights.
Yes, of course. And look, that's what Agenda 4 would take care of. And we're not saying don't ever talk about Israel again. But what we're saying is it's a bit abusive when you've got multiple resolutions against Israel. You've got multiple reports against Israel. You've got an agenda item all to itself. At some point, let's balance this out a little bit. And you know, if they're doing something wrong, call them out for it. But don't just look for a reason to pick. And I think that's what's happened at the UN for a long time.
Who do you think the Council should look at?
Well, I think that you can certainly look at, I mean, you can look at the Congo, you can look at Syria, you can look at Venezuela, you can look at North Korea. I mean, it's endless on who they should be looking at in terms of human rights issues. And so to be looking at Israel, it's just so far-fetched at this point.
So in a sense, they protect themselves.
They protect themselves, but that's going to stop.